to a brand new episode of Totally 80s and 90s Recall. If you're new to this podcast, we are so excited that you found us. And for our returning listeners, thank you so much for the continued support. Well, if you love all things 80s and 90s, from music and movies to television, pop culture, and fashion, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, David, joined as always by my good friend, Rob.
I'm going to go with ahoy, matey.
Ahoy, matey. That's not your best one.
No, that
felt
flat.
I'll
do better next time.
In the versions of hello that you like to throw out each time, going to Gilligan's Island is not the best way to do that.
Okay.
So, but
try something different.
You'll get another chance.
Next
so
time.
we'll let you think it through and see if you can do it again on another episode.
That's fair.
On this podcast, Rob and I will travel back to the 2 decades that shaped not only our lives, but influenced the world for generations that followed. Each episode, we will develop and discuss lists of selected topics or perhaps identify a significant event, movie, or whatever we recall from growing up in the 80s and 90s, hopefully providing some fun, laughs, and nostalgia along the way. On this episode, we're going to have a little fun and do something a little different with our list and cover our favorite songs from the Billboard Hot 100 songs of February 28th, 1990. So that will coincide with the week that this episode is debuting. So after looking at the most popular 100 songs in America, because that's what they were, according to radio listeners for February 28th, 1990, how did you feel about the songs that you had to select from?
It wasn't my favorite assignment. I'm going to be honest with you. But I felt very hamstrung.
You're supposed to.
It was very specific.
It is specific.
Very specific.
So look, these were the top 100 songs in America. So for the percentage of radio listeners and how they rate that and measure it, these are the 100 songs that they said were the best in the country that week. So if it's good enough for the percentage of America that makes it the majority, then it's good enough for us to make a list of.
I guess. I don't know. I'm going to take your word for it.
Well, you don't have to take my word for it. You have a list. Otherwise, this is going to be a weird podcast because I'm going to be the only one talking. So you don't have to take my word for it. You're going to present. You're going to present something.
And you're very proud of your list. You've been giddy.
I like the list. When I looked at the songs, it was very simple for me to figure out what I like because there were a lot of good songs. As usual, you're going to say there was nothing for you to select from. But we'll disagree like we like to do.
No, I thought there were some good ones. But
there are some good ones.
There was a lot I didn't know. Like artists I'd never heard of.
Is it just too long ago? You just can't remember anymore?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, if these were the top 100 songs, they're on the radio.
1990.
1990.
13? No.
Fifth. I think you're... Yeah. I'm finishing up 8th grade, so you're finishing up 6th grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, 13. So, yeah.
13. Big age. Fun age. That's a fun age.
There's some fun ones in here.
There is. Well, for this episode, we still have a top 10 list of songs. Okay. However, to mix it up and make us think a little harder, make you do a little more homework there, Rob, only 5 of those songs and 1 cut could be ranked in the top 50. So we're not going to let you have all the freebies at the top.
Okay.
And the other 5 and your final cut had to come from the bottom 50. So I'm making you look at all 100 songs. And we're gonna get a good sampling from all up and down the list, not just what's at the very top. You're still going to have an honorable mention, but that can come from anywhere in the top 100.
Okay.
And once you formulated your top 10, you can rank them however you want.
Sure.
So if it's from the bottom 50, but it's your number 1, that's perfectly acceptable. You just had to make sure your 10 came split exactly the way that we talked about.
Okay.
So let's roam where we want to and head back to February 1990. Well, it's a new decade, and songs and styles are changing. So with that, Rob, even though you're upset about this assignment, hit us with your number 10.
All right, my number 10 out of the gate is the B-52s, Love Shack. And that was, at the time, it ranked number 96 on the list.
Love Shack.
Yep.
That's one of most popular songs
of
that time frame. Everybody knows that song.
Yeah, everybody should. Yeah, even if you're not a fan, you know it, right?
It was everywhere.
Yeah, Rolling Stone named this song the best single of 1989 and ranked it 246th on its list of 500 greatest songs of all time.
Hold on. Best single of 1989?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
That's insane. there had to have been better songs in '89. Like I like Love Shack. It's kitschy and fun,
and it holds a spot at 246th on the list of 500 greatest songs of all time for Rolling Stone. So,
oh man,
I feel like I don't know. I
I'd
question
like
their thinking.
I'd like to see the criteria of that. Look, I like Love Shack. It is a nostalgic and classic song. It being one of the 500 best songs of all time, I'm not sure.
I agree
on that with Rolling Stone, but they get paid a lot more to evaluate music than I do. This is just me talking to you. We're both full of nonsense. But yeah, it's just a fun song, but I wouldn't put it in the annals of 500 best
greatest
of all time.
I 100% agree with you. So,
but it's still got on your list.
Yep. And they also said it was named one of the 365 songs of the century in 2001.
So Love Shack's got way too many
likes
accolades.
Yeah.
Way too many accolades.
It was fun, but I wouldn't put it on my list of 500.
I can think of lots of fun songs.
Mm-hmm.
Barbie Girl's a fun song. I wouldn't put it on a top anything list. So, all right. But Love Shack is better than... before our listeners get in uproar, I do think Love Shack is better than Barbie Girl. I'm not trying to compare the two of those. Just use that example of what fun is. So, well, a start at number 10, going with the Love Shack.
Yep.
Good start.
Yeah.
It's a good song, and should be expected to be on a list like this. So.
Yeah, it barely made the 100, so it cracked into the...
Barely made it. Yeah. So my first song is Back to Life by Soul to Soul.
Okay. All right. This is good. I like this song.
You like this one?
Yep.
It's not Love Shack.
No. I like it.
It is. It is a good one. It was number 51 this week.
Okay.
Now there's like 9 words in the whole song, and it just kind of gets repeated over and over again on top of that Sweet House beat, which is what makes it catchy. This song won a Grammy in 1990 for Best R&B Song by a Duo or a Group.
Wow.
I wouldn't have thought Grammy on that, but there it was.
Yep.
To me, it's an infectious song and can definitely get stuck in your head after you hear it, but it's very nostalgic when I hear it and go back to it, but I wouldn't listen to it over and over and over again.
Right.
But when I'm looking at this list, it's one of the top 10 songs on the list.
I agree. Yeah. No, I think that's good. I remember listening. This was one I remember being on the radio. Absolutely. Probably on the, let's see, this would have been, I would have been riding the bus to school. So this would have been.
That was on the
bus
radio
driver
a lot.
A lot. Yep. Classic.
That was one of those they'd play it like 3 times an hour.
Yes.
So you weren't going to miss it.
Absolutely. No, that's a good pick. Good pick. All right. My number 9 is Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic.
Technotronic.
That was number 42 this week. And this is another one. People know it.
Sounds like a jock jam.
Yeah. Everybody knows
Is that just Technotronic, or is that Technotronic featuring Ya Kid K?
Yes, you are correct. Technotronic featuring Ya Kid K. Nice job. Some things I learned about this song. I didn't realize they were a Belgian artist. But
a lot of those songs, like the Back to Life, they were not from the United States either.
UK.
They were from the UK.
Yeah.
So a lot of those, I think, house dance originated more in Europe, and then it kind of took hold in the early 90s.
Yeah. One note that I have in my notes here that I thought was a really good description of this song. It said one person described the song as it doesn't get old. That you can play this song now. You could play the song at a party now, and it still holds. It's a fun song. So
are you in on that?
I am. I do. I think this song, if it came out in 89, 90, and it has a very kind of that house club feel to it that was maybe ahead of its time. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you could play it now and it would have that beat, but I definitely think people would think it sounds dated because it sounds like the 90s. Yeah. So if you played it now, they'd think it was like a throwback or someone's doing a remix, something like that. But yeah, I mean, any good house beat you can play over and over again. I don't know if it's as playable as that quote thought, but again, I don't get paid to evaluate music. It's just my silly opinion. So, well, that was solid with the Ya Kid K. And that takes me to my number 9, which is wildly different than Technotronic. It is Phil Collins with Another Day in Paradise.
Oh, I don't know. Well, you brought it down. You bring down it's
got to bring down the
vibe.
temperature.
We went from Pump Up the Jam to Phil Collins.
Yeah. Polar opposites. So,
Gosh, I don't know if I have. Well,
so it was
I don't wanna give it away.
number 86 this week.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't say I'm a huge Phil Collins fan because I'm not. I like a few of his songs,
Mm-hmm.
but this was on the radio a lot, and I remember hearing it all the time, and it eventually wore me down to where I'd find myself singing the lyrics, even though I didn't really like it that much, but I heard it so much it was just in my head all the time, which I'm not sure is a glowing endorsement of the song, but it's definitely how I felt about it. It feels a little depressing. The music's very slow.
Yeah.
The lyrics, all of it is just, it's a lot. And I know that song, it's just not a mandatory playlist song, but fun fact, it spent 4 weeks at number one, and it had the distinction of being the last number one single of the 80s and the first number one single of the 90s.
Oh, wow. Good little nugget of info there.
Yes, I'm very good with Google.
Yeah. He had a couple songs on the This Week in 1990.
He did. People were in on Phil Collins. Like I said, I take a few Phil Collins here and there. I can definitely overdose on it.
Yeah.
And this is not one. Again, this is one I knew, and this is one I was listening to at that time. But I don't go out of my way to find it as much anymore because it is quite depressing.
Yeah. If I remember it, the video was like a black and white
It's quite depressing.
montage of maybe
about
like
homelessness.
Homelessness.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what. Okay. All right.
Way to bring that mood down.
I
right?
know. Right?
Pump up the jam.
Okay, I'll bring it.
Phil
I'll bring it back up.
Collins.
I'll
All
bring
right.
it back up.
I trust you.
So I'm at number 8. So my number 8 is one that you've already mentioned. It is Back to Life, Soul to Soul. The only thing I have to add to this is that the UK put out a list of the best 1001 songs from the UK, and this song ranked 534th on that particular list. So the UK holds this song in high esteem over there.
Yeah, they like house music, like dance beat type stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we
that's my
crossed
number.
over.
Hey,
We crossed over there. I was not expecting us to maybe have a similar song, but right out of the gate.
I think we might. I think we're gonna have more alike than what you think on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there were only 100 to choose from, so
and a lot of stinkers. I'm
you
sorry.
didn't. Yeah. They weren't stinkers. There's some good songs on there.
There was a few songs that when I was doing my research, I couldn't even find them.
Yeah.
Like
doesn't
it's
mean
not
they're
on Amazon.
stinkers.
It's not on Spotify. Like they have lost. They weren't one-hit wonders. They are lost.
Lost hit wonders.
They're gone.
They're somewhere.
They didn't make it.
They're somewhere. All right. Well, my number 8, and it won't be shocking to anyone who's listened to our show multiple times, is going to be Chicago.
Oh,
What kind of man would I be?
I saw that. So stupid. So
This
dumb.
is great. What are you talking about? It's such good harmonies. They're so good.
Okay, I don't know my Chicago history, but is that Peter Cetera?
That is not. So Peter's out of the band at this point.
Okay.
So this is just the remaining members, and they would bring in some other singers.
Okay.
Peter's
Nobody famous
definitely
though. Like they didn't.
Nobody that
no.
you would know
Oh, okay.
that well. So that was number 17 during this week. Peaked at number 5 on the Billboard charts, and it was Chicago's last single to go onto the Billboard Hot 100, which is terrible, by the way. They should have had way more, but that's okay. The style of music is listed as pop rock, and that sounds just about like the right description to me. Now, as I've said before, and for anyone that's listened to our podcast knows, if Chicago's an option, they're going on my list somewhere with or without Peter Cetera. In this case, being without Peter Cetera, which is disappointing, but it's still really good. You know
He
that.
sounded a lot like Peter Cetera.
Well, they got a couple guys to kind of sound like him, but it wasn't the same.
No.
You know what Chicago reminds me of now was the late 90s, early 2000s time Life commercials at 2 a.m. trying to sell you like the pop rock hits of the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
And they'd be like,
They'd be scrolling up the screen. Yeah.
they'd say, you can't live without this 10-disc collection for $200. And they'd play Chicago, and they'd play Foreigner, and they'd play all those kinds of groups. And so that's what it reminds me of now. Like you'd be up late and you'd catch that Time Life. Before there was streaming services, you'd have to buy this compilation disc set. And there were times I'm at 2 a.m. going like, I wish I did have all those songs together.
Yeah. I think I'll buy that.
I never did buy it.
Take my money.
But so when Napster showed up, it made it lots easier for me. I didn't have to buy the Time Life. I could just make my own Time Life.
Well, that's a good segue because I think my number, what am I at? My number 7.
7.
My number 7 would be on that compilation. And if this isn't in your list, I'll be shocked. but I want to hang out on the song for a minute. So I'm gonna. It is Michael Bolton. How Can We Be Lovers? And that was at number 68 that week. And oh my gosh,
what a voice! The voice of a generation.
I don't know. Did you just say he's the voice of a generation?
He's a voice of a generation.
He's a voice. Yeah. This is my favorite part. Oh, it's almost a parody of itself.
It's your favorite part is just from start to finish because
Okay.
Michael Bolton's great all the way through.
Yes. Okay. So I've been holding on to this. So when I was doing research, I came across this. I have to read this. This is a Wikipedia. This was the info. There's not much on it, but this is what was in there, and I'm going to read it in its entirety. At its release, it was mostly dismissed by critics as yet another cheesy soft rock ballad, already so common in the late 1980s and early 1990s. However, over time, the song has undergone a critical reevaluation and now is ranked among the greatest works of Western civilization, with its lyrics endlessly analyzed and interpreted. There's more. I'm thinking you wrote this.
I probably did.
In the song, Bolton ponders fundamental questions of the human condition. For example, the line, how can we be lovers if we can't be friends? How can we start over when the fighting never ends? Demonstrates Bolton's profound understanding of a truth that transcends the ages. Scholars of music and literature often cite the line, quote, we lie awake, this wall between us, we're just not talking, we got so much to say, as being particularly evocative, given that the wall, quote, that Bolton describes can be thought of as both a physical barrier as well as an emotional one. These allusions give the song much of its narrative transcendental power.
So that is way too much information about Michael Bolton. And here's what I know about Michael Bolton. He's cool. He had great hair and he had a great voice. So that's all I need to know. The rest of that about it just being transcendental and being the song of a generation and all that. Look, I like
ranked
Michael Bolton.
among the greatest works of Western civilization.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I think that's a case where anyone can go on Wikipedia and kind of type what they want.
Well, I know that's true because they spelled analyzed wrong.
Gotcha. You think maybe Michael got on there and wrote that?
I don't know.
Hey, if anyone's going to pump someone up, it's got to be you. You got to pump yourself up.
Awesome.
So when people read that, they go, well, I got to listen to this song because it's apparently as important as Plato, Michelangelo, whatever you want to go to. It's just one of the best things of Western civilization.
I read that last night and I was dying. Wow. I thought it was so funny.
Well, having to follow that up and go from Michael Bolton to mine seems like a bit of a letdown because my song definitely isn't a voice of a generation or any kind of transformational song. It's just Jane Child with Don't Want to Fall in Love.
What? No. Oh, I missed that one. Oh, I'm a dummy. What number was that? Where did it rank? What number during the week? Do you know?
For where did it rank?
Well, yeah, in that week.
I got it. Number 37 this week.
37?
Yeah, it would go to number 2 in April of 1990 for 3 straight weeks. Never got to number 1, but did get to number 2. I remember this song from the video. She had a nose ring, but it had a chain that connected to her earring, and I had just never seen that before. So I'd never seen anybody with a chain nose earring. So I thought that was interesting. Very memorable. And she had that spiky, like, mohawk hair. And she's just walking around the streets of L.A. singing. But it's a super catchy pop song that was always on the radio for many, many months. Mm-hmm. And again, it's one of those that gets in your head and you kind of just remember it. But it was pretty popular for several months.
Just a couple spots down from Michael Bolton.
Just a couple spots down.
Yeah, so, 37. That's crazy.
37. She's on the rise.
That one.
So if she gets to, this is February, so she's getting to number 2 in April. She's on the rise right here.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad at myself. I missed that one.
Ooh. Oh, you wanted that one?
No, I think that would have made it somewhere in there. But
yeah, it's a good song.
Darn it.
It's a good pop song.
It is. It's catchy. I like it. Let's see. My number 6 is, I think you'll have this one. I remember you liking. Well, anyway. It's Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation. The black and white video.
Yeah.
They're all wearing the same, like, the uniform.
Yeah, it's like an army.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's good.
Yeah. Got lots of awards. It was at 99. So it just cracked the top 100.
Just snuck in.
It got MTV Music Award for Best Choreography, Best Dance Video, Billboard Award for Best Female Video Artist. I think there was the long form of the video won a Grammy for Best Long Form Video. This is interesting. The video's outfit was inducted into the National Museum of Women in the Arts and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All the songs you pick are so historical.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of an anthem.
Contributing to Western civilization.
Yeah.
Now we've got this.
Michael Bolton.
I don't have anything that does anything like that. Mine are just songs. They literally have no like deeper meaning other than they're just catchy songs.
Yeah, I thought this was a good. I do remember this.
Were you a
This is
Janet
catchy.
Jackson fan?
I'm not a big Janet Jackson fan, but I like this one. This was good.
This one?
Yeah.
That album I had, and this song's okay. My favorite song off of that was Black Cat. So
I don't know.
Go
that.
back and listen to that.
That was a rocker.
Yeah,
that
pull
was
up Black Cat. And Black Cat was really good. That's probably my favorite, one of my favorite Janet Jackson songs.
I do remember that.
So, but Rhythm Nation, it's not bad. It's not Black Cat. Well, that was your number 6.
Mm-hmm.
My number 6 comes from one of the most, I think, underrated pop bands of the late 80s, early 90s. That is Roxette with Dangerous.
I looked at that one. Mm-hmm. Nice.
So what I know about Roxette is this. I think, as I said, they're just underrated. They wrote great pop songs. If you go back and listen to Roxette and those pop songs, they're just catchy. They're great. They have good rhythm. It was number 2 this week, so it was right up there.
Okay.
It was released in May of 89 and hit number 2 this week in 1990. So it had a slow, methodical climb on the charts.
Mm-hmm.
It was there for a long time. The video for this song was filmed at a concert in Sweden. So for me, Roxette, great pop band. I think their songs are catchy, fun to sing along to, which a lot of times are really my only criteria to a song that I like. And as I talked about, I just think they're underappreciated. I think when people talk about great pop bands, maybe people think they're disposable or that they weren't as cool. But I think you go back and listen to some of their songs. They have great songs.
Yeah, I know they have some great slow ones.
Couple great slow ones, but I really like when they do songs like this where the upbeat, they develop really good beats, and it just makes for a fun pop song.
Yeah, no, I think that's a solid choice.
Roxette.
I did not give them a spot. So
you did not give them a spot.
No, didn't feel like they deserved it. So there you go.
Well, they deserved it. I mean, that was a bit harsh. We'll see what your next 5 are, and then we'll decide where deserving went.
I think my next 5 are really good.
All
right, here we go. Number 5 is we're gonna go with a little Skid Row. We're gonna change it up. I Remember You. Come on,
it's really good. I can't even.
It was at number 40 this week in 1990.
Number 40.
Yep. Yeah. I got the. Come on now.
Look,
right.
I got no argument for me.
What I liked was Sebastian Bach, when interviewed, he said, "I Remember You" was the number 1 prom song in the United States of America in the year 1990. You talk about making memories. Literally, the whole country of America did their prom dance to "I Remember You." So I think that's when you got a song that was the prom song of 1990. There you go.
That is awesome, because that means there are a whole group of Gen X millennials running around who slow danced to that in 1990, and now when that comes on the radio or wherever they listen to it on their playlist, they're telling their kids or their whatever that, oh, this is what I danced to at the prom. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you say it was the number 1 prom song, it had to be jamming out at like junior high dances and stuff
absolutely.
too. So there's a whole nother group that's just their first awkward slow dance was to Skid Row.
Yeah.
So people can say that.
Yeah. End of year parties.
Be like, hey, what's the first song you remember dancing to? Skid Row.
Mm-hmm.
And if kids don't understand now what Skid Row is,
Google it.
It's just too bad. Because that Sebastian Bach, man, he was like an opera singer or something.
One could make the argument. You talk about voices of a generation.
Yeah, he was a really good singer. I don't know Voice of a Generation, but really good singer. So Skid Row. Can't go wrong with that.
All right.
Well, my number 5 was already mentioned, and we're going to take a trip back to the Shack.
Oh, you did it. Okay. I didn't think you'd do it. I didn't think
I had to do it. Wait.
It was higher on your list.
So my favorite parts in that song are actually the male singer. It's one of the songs I remember that song most. It's one of the songs I remember the most from the late 80s and early 90s. Like if I think about that time frame, Love Shack pops in there because it was on a lot. Number 3 on the Billboard charts and was the band's first top 10 hit. I'd never heard them before. I'd never heard anything like it. And of course, they were around in the 80s. They had Rock Lobster. But I just remember the male singer. The girl singers were good, but the male singer, I'd never heard anybody singing like that. Like he was half singing, half talking. And just his enunciation of things was like, we're heading on down to the Love Shack. Like, it made you feel like anybody could sing like that. Then if he was going to do that,
then you could.
Maybe I could sing like that, you know. Got me a Chrysler, seats about 20. I mean, it didn't seem difficult, but I hadn't heard anybody like that in a song before. So to me, he was always funny. And so I didn't listen to a lot else after that with the B-52s.
No.
Stand and Rome and a couple of the other songs.
Rome was in this list this week.
Stand was REM. Not making my mistake there, but
number 3.
Rome, and then there were some other ones. They went, but nothing ever hit again.
Number 4.
Yeah, nothing ever hit again like the Love Shack.
Honest, like there's a point in that song where one of the guys, I don't know the band members' names, but she breaks in and she says something. Music stops.
Is it the Tin Roof part?
Yeah.
Tin Roof.
Did you ever?
Rusting.
Yeah. Did you ever misquote that?
I don't think so.
I think it's a commonly misquoted song.
I always thought it was pretty clear what she said. The only part maybe was the rusting the first time, just because I wouldn't have understood maybe what that was.
Yeah.
But the Tin Roof always stuck out.
Yeah. I never.
Maybe you thought it was Tin Roof busting.
Yeah.
Because we did bust stuff in the early 90s.
That's true. Yeah. What are we at? My number 4?
4.
My number 4. Wow. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. I'm proud of this one. This is little Paula Abdul, Opposites Attract, with her buddy MC Scat Cat. Number 3 that week.
Number 3. She was very popular in 89 and 90.
I liked her.
Everybody liked her.
I think I had a little crush on her.
Everybody had a little crush on her. She was a Laker girl.
Yes, she was. So I was surprised that this won this video won the 91 Grammy Award for Best Short Form Music Video.
Well, yeah, because there wasn't another video like that.
What?
They hadn't spliced.
Is it because of the animation?
Yeah, they hadn't spliced.
Oh, okay.
Because they're doing like a Roger Rabbit thing there. Live action with cartoons.
That's true. That was the big thing there, right? It became Abdul's 4th number 1 single on the Billboard Hot 100. It made her she's listed with some big dogs here, and made her only the 4th artist in music history to score 4 number 1 hits from a single album. They named Whitney Houston, George Michael, Michael Jackson. Later, Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, Usher, and Katy Perry would do the same thing. So she's listed with the greats.
I mean, she was great. That album was great. You can't argue it. I mean, she was probably one of the most popular things on the planet from 89 to 90.
That's true.
How many number 1s were on that album? 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, she was it. And they're like great songs. They're catchy songs. They're good songs. So I like the song on the next album with the Keanu Reeves in the video. Rush. Yeah, that was a good one. I think that went to number 1. Can't go wrong with a Rush.
I hope that comes up one day.
It will.
We can talk about that one.
Well, let's rush to my number 4. And it's going to be...
That was good.
Yeah. I work on these transitions really hard. I have no idea what you're going to say, but as soon as I hear it, it just fits. Right? It just goes right where it should.
You're fast.
It's going to be Young MC with Bust a Move.
Yep. I like this song a lot. I don't know how this is Yep. This song makes me smile.
It's a good song.
Yep. No, it's good. It's good. No.
Yeah, so number 63 this week, released in May of 89 and stayed on the Hot 100 charts for 39 weeks.
So it was a player.
It was on there for a long time. This won a Grammy for Best Rap Performance. I think of Bust a Move like this. I didn't know it at the time when I heard it, but I think of it this way. I think of it as the way rap used to sound to when we got into the 90s to how rap was going to sound.
Oh, no, that's good.
This seems like he's the last version of that 80s rap style, which was that, to where we're going to start getting into the Dr. Dre's, Snoop Dogg's, the West Coast, East Coast style rap. To me, this is where 80s rap kind of died, and 90s rap's about to come in and be a whole different version of that.
No, I think that's That's an interesting assessment of that. That's good. Yeah, that's a fun song. I like that song a lot.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that song gets played at every wedding.
Oh.
Anywhere.
Yeah, that's
all the time.
That's on a DJ's must play list.
Must play, because you play that and young people, old people, middle people, everyone's like, oh, bust a move, right?
Yeah, that's the song that you save when things are starting to kind of die down. You put that one, everybody's like,
everyone's on the
dance
floor.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep. We are at my number 3. Wow, we are blazing through these.
Blazing.
All right.
The Blazing 100.
The number 3 is Lisa Stanfield, All Around the World.
That's good.
My favorite part of the song is later on. She almost does an almost scat type.
Yeah.
She does this little.
I looked at that song because I do like that song. Just didn't get into my top 10.
Yep. No, that's it. It was at number 25 this week in 1990. It was nominated for a Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. And she was nominated for the Grammy for Best New Artist. So this is no slouch song. This was
slouch song. No, that's a good song.
It's a good one. It's a good one to sing to. People know it.
Yeah.
Unapologetically, I like it.
Unapologetically.
Yeah. It's fun.
Well, my number 3 as we look at this list, obviously we had some similar tastes because we're about to cross over again. I think we've crossed over like 2 or 3 times already. But I don't have much more to say, but we'll go ahead and head back to the prom.
Oh, nice. Yep. You can almost see a prom. You could almost see it in a gym. 1990.
Yeah, you can see that.
I love it.
Not even blinking. So yeah, everything you said about it is right. 2 words for me: power ballad. So
power ballad.
Charted number 6 in America and number 2 in New Zealand. So the Kiwis coming in strong again. They know what's good music over there. So, but I think we said about everything you can say about this. It's Skid Row.
Yeah.
I like 18 in Life.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm gonna pick a song.
Yes.
It didn't come out in 1990, but that'd be my favorite Skid Row song.
Mm-hmm.
But this is good. This just sounds like a prom song. So it's a prom song, or it's like 2 high schoolers sitting in a car.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere necking.
Oh yeah.
Can we say necking? Making out.
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think they say necking.
No one says that.
I don't think
That dates me a lot. Can we say making out?
I don't think we ever said. My parents might.
That's
have said
probably
that.
why I never did that in high school, because I said stupid things like necking. So
a little passionate necking.
Yeah. Take her up to the pointed pinner. You want to wear my Letterman's jacket? So, just get up there, crank up some Skid Row. Hey, I'd like you to wear my class ring
and do some necking.
Oh
boy,
maybe that's the PG version of what they're actually doing, right? Necking. So.
Oh man. Okay. We're at number 2.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Aerosmith. Janie's Got a Gun.
Janie's Got a Gun.
It was number 26 this week. Good song.
It is a good song.
Very, very depressing video.
It is an awful
depressing
video.
song. I mean, the whole thing, child abuse. And,
the video is awful.
But it won the band a 1990 Grammy for Best Rock Performance. I thought it was interesting that the video was directed by David Fincher, best known for Seven, The Game, Fight Club, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Social Network, stuff like that. So, big video at the time and big song at the time. I like it. So.
Nothing to do with that, but talking about people who directed music videos before directing big movies and stuff, Michael Bay was a video director.
I didn't know that.
Before he directed his big explosion movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right? So, Aerosmith, that video's rough.
Yeah, it's
like,
not.
You
it's
can't
not
watch it more than once.
No, it's not a feel-good
I mean,
movie.
the
And then
lyrics
it opens with that eerie,
it's awful
guitar, stringy thing. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
it's a good song. It just doesn't evoke any good feelings whatsoever.
It doesn't.
So, well, taking us from that, since we talked about how depressing
something
that is.
uplifting.
It is something uplifting, but it's just a copy of something you already had uplifting.
Ooh,
and that's DJ Scat Cat again
with
Opposites Attracting.
Was this
crossover?
Was this the only song they did together? I thought there was another one.
No, this is it. he's not real. They didn't do things together.
I know the cats
First of all, that just doesn't even make sense. They didn't do it together.
No.
Here's what happened, just in case you're wondering. I don't know if you know about video production.
I know.
But Paula Abdul just recorded herself singing, and then a green screen took care of the rest of that. Okay.
I know that.
In fact, you can see the way she dances. They had to put that cartoon in there. So they're not really together. What do you think they did on the tour? You just play that background?
I don't know.
Well, somebody voiced the cat because he's not real.
Nobody. That wasn't.
Did they bring the guy out on that does the actual voiceover?
I don't know. I have it on a video.
I'd be curious. I didn't go to a Paula Abdul concert, so I'd be curious to know when they go out on the road and do this song live. What does that look like? Does she just sing both parts, or
I don't know.
Maybe they just play the track with his voice in the background?
I don't know.
Something to ponder, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I kind of want to know how it worked.
I wouldn't give it a whole.
Because it wouldn't sound the same without the cat.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it. I wouldn't give it a whole lot of your time.
I think I might. If I have some time later today, maybe I'll. I think I need to dig into who MC Scat Cat is, and his behind the music might be interesting. So
he gets his own episode.
Gets his own episode. Like he got strung out on catnip, and just then he had to go to rehab, and he made his way back. And
he gets a comeback. He's got
a big comeback. Yeah. His big comeback is maybe I want his comeback to be with Paula Abdul.
Well, and I think like Rick Rubin does his album.
Yeah, he produced the first album, and then he went off the rails, and now he's back, and they don't want him to relapse. So
remakes it like a new image.
Yeah. So I'd like to know the backstory on the Scat Cat.
Yeah,
but
no, I think that's good.
I guess that's something for another day.
Yeah.
Well, before we reveal our number ones, let's head to the cut line. As we put our list together, we often find it very difficult to rank just 10 in each category. Corey, that's a weird word. Obviously that I can't say. Category. So for this segment, we will each identify 2 songs that just fell out of our top 10. We will also identify an honorable mention, which is a song we missed the first time around, but found sometime later and really liked. So, Rob, what are your 2 cuts?
All right. So my first one is one I couldn't find a lot of info on it, but it is "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue.
Goodness gracious!
Why goodness gracious? Why that?
I love it. Great song.
Oh no, this is another one that I would put on my my treadmill.
That should be on everyone's treadmill workout song.
So it was at 83 that week in 1990. It's just a kind of a killer, high energy, upbeat song, and I think it's fun.
It is fun.
I think it might be about drugs.
Every song of Motley Crue is about drugs.
Okay.
Well, actually, that song, if I remember it right, "Kickstart My Heart," is actually about when Nikki Sixx died, because he was dead for a minute, and then they had to kick his heart back into. And so if you listen to the song, they're talking about driving cars at 100 miles an hour. They're skydiving. They're doing all these things. So I think it's about Nikki Sixx, or they wrote it sometime after Nikki Sixx was technically dead.
No, I think that would make sense. And I remember the video. Yeah, the video was like all kinds of a high adrenaline. It was like a stock car or race cars and anyway.
Yep, anything that would kickstart your heart.
There you go.
So
all right.
Yes, high adrenaline.
Yeah. Okay, so my other cut line fell at 9. It was number 9 that week. It is "Black Velvet" by Alana Miles.
Oh, my.
Come on now.
Look at you with your women empowering song right there.
Look.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
She's so sassy.
So sassy.
Right?
Yeah, right?
Is that a word?
Sassy.
That's
sure.
a word.
Yeah, you can use it.
No one.
I wouldn't.
As I said it out loud, I don't think anyone uses it.
Is it a word?
It's the first word that came into my brain for whatever
Is
reason.
it a word? She won a 91 Grammy for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance. She's Canadian.
Of course.
So there's that. What I didn't know, which is probably it's obvious to everybody else, I didn't realize that this is it's about Elvis. It's a little nod to Elvis.
I mean,
you knew that?
Yeah. It sounds like it.
But yeah, whose portrait was often painted on black velvet, and who used a hair dye named Black Velvet. So,
sounds about right.
And then there's a whole like rigmarole, like 2 different people recorded this, and anyway. But yeah, so that's my cut.
That's a lot of background on that song.
Yeah.
Just a classic song, I guess. That's one of those again that I know it, and if I hear it, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But I don't go out of my way to find it.
Yeah, that's why
you
I
know.
put it down on the cut line because I think it was a big song of that year. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's good.
people know it.
Well, my first song comes from an individual that I found out later was in a great band called the Eagles. And that's Don Henley with The Heart of the Matter.
Have you shared that story? That I think we did on the previous that
previous one,
you didn't
yeah.
know that he was in the
I didn't. It was my embarrassing quote of the week.
Yeah. I looked at it. I didn't like it.
Said you didn't like it.
No.
Just like that. I looked at it. I
I
don't,
didn't like it.
I don't like it at all.
I didn't like
So I look at it as it's like a solid radio song.
it. Mm-hmm.
It's nothing great, but it's nothing bad. If I hear it on the radio, I'll sing along with it. I'm not going to add it to any particular playlist or anything I'm doing. It seems disposable, if I can say it, if I say it like that. It seems like a lot of other songs on the radio at the time. But his voice sells it, so it makes it really
Mhm.
good.
No,
So-
I like that song.
Yeah, strong radio pop song.
Absolutely.
Well, my next cut is "Love Will Lead You Back" by Taylor Dane.
No. What? Okay.
I could see dancing to this in a junior high
Oh,
too.
I
By the
did.
way,
Yeah. No, this was played at the same prom. Oh, I can totally see
she
that.
had a pretty good voice.
No, I think Taylor Dane holds a place in the 90s.
That was number 15 this week, so
Was
pretty
it
high up.
Was
on
it was it rising?
I don't know. I didn't look at the rise or fall. I just know it was 15, but super catchy pop song. And from 88 to 90, she was pretty popular. And then she kind of fell off the planet. I don't know. She probably still tours, but I wouldn't know about it. She had a slew of hits. I like Taylor Dane, but like a lot of artists we've talked about on here, all in moderation.
Yeah, it says
But
here,
I do like that song.
Yeah, it says here she peaked. This is where she peaked, 15 this week.
She peaked.
She was up from 18 the week before, and this is as high as it got that week.
Couldn't get any higher.
Stayed only 6 weeks on the chart. So
Yeah, but catchy. Good song.
no, it was good. Good.
I like it.
Let's see here. Where are we at? We did honorable mention?
You're on honorable mention.
Okay. So my honorable mention is you're gonna know this one.
Of course I will.
Well, you're gonna know that I did it.
Yeah. Is this really an honorable mention? You
Yeah.
didn't listen to this when it came out?
No, I wasn't.
Wow.
90. I would. Tom Petty. I mean, I knew who he was from like.
You like Tom Petty.
I do. Yeah. So that's what I picked as my honorable mention. It was at 55 this week in 1990. It's his highest and longest charting song. I would have thought he had some other ones in there, but no. This is kind of the one he's known for.
So there were two big Tom Petty songs in the 90s. Free Fallin'.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'd say three. You had Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Yes. Great song.
Great. So, yeah, that's the great song. And then the other one, which is escaping me at the moment.
Is it the one?
Johnny Depp was in the video.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a rock star.
Uh-huh.
That's the one I like the best. Now that I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. But it's the one I like the best. But Mary Jane's Last Dance was good, too. But, yeah, he had those three big hits in the 90s. And
no, that was that I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't listen to it at the time, so that's why I thought it met the definition of a.
There's something in there singing about vampires in the valley or something.
Yeah, he's kind of describing going through the
California Valley?
California Valley there, and
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, that's a good honorable mention. My honorable mention, I don't know if you're going to know it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's going to know it, but I know it, and it's called "You're the Voice" by John Farnham.
No. Nobody knows this.
People who know this, and they know why they know it. It's really good.
What?
It's just really good. Here comes the chorus.
What? No.
So you're making these faces, which is fine.
This is one of those songs your friends are going to get online and they're going to go, this guy was a beast or something. And nobody's going to know who he is.
Everyone knows who it is. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I never knew who this was. I never listened to this song. By the way, huge in Australia. It's like one of their anthems down there. He's Australian. But this is
an anthem.
It is. You can look it up. The amount of views this gets on YouTube is insane. So this is off the Hot Rod soundtrack. So if you haven't seen Hot Rod, you wouldn't know where that came from. But it's anyone listening, if you haven't heard this song, go find it on your music source.
Good.
And you'll be pleasantly happy to see how positive it is. It feels like a mid '80s song that should have been part of like a.
This isn't the one that he
movie.
plays when he's dancing through the woods. Is
No,
it?
that's
no,
the Footloose
that's a different.
song.
Okay,
But this is the one where he's going to the event so he can raise the money to save Frank, so that he can kick his butt. Yeah, and as they walk through the town, this song starts playing, and all the people start coming up behind him because it's so positive and inspirational. But then the whole thing breaks into a city fight, and everything gets blown up, and it's crazy time. But that's where I heard it. My kids and I watched this together. This is how we remember this song. My kids like this song now because of Hot Rod. But it's a super positive song. And I'm telling you, it looks like it should be in an 80s movie montage, like some kind of event where you're training or you got to go, you got the big ski jump on that weekend or something like that. But it's awesome. It's an awesome song.
God, that was now that I see your connection to the relevancy of a recent movie, the Hot Rod movie. Well done.
Well done.
Done.
It is a great. That's one of my best honorable mentions.
I don't know if it's your best.
I said one of my best. Didn't say the best.
Is it time for my number one?
It is time for the number one.
Oh, man. Okay, so my number one, you've already mentioned it, but it is Bust a Move.
Oh, that got all the way to number one for you.
This is, to me, the funnest song on that whole list.
Whole list.
Yeah.
Had a lot of crossovers.
We did.
We were listening to a lot of the same stuff.
No, I have a theory on that. Because your choices are... we didn't have a lot of choices to pick.
No, I left a lot off, I think.
Did you know that he was a British American rapper?
I didn't know
that, yeah. Fleas in the video. I'd forgotten that.
Flea.
Do you remember that?
Did he have a shirt on?
I don't know. It stayed on the, you already mentioned it, 39 weeks.
Yeah, long time.
20 weeks in the top 40, and it won a Grammy for Best Rap Performance. You already said those things. But yeah. So anyway, that's my number one.
That's your number one?
Yeah.
Young MC. There's an episode of Scrubs where Turk and JD go to a conference, and there's a guy there called Young Old MC. And every time anybody says anything, he comes by, like you'll be like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, and he'll just poke his head and go, bust a move. So it's pretty funny. Like, it's not funny when I describe it, but if you're a fan of Scrubs, it's funny because they're like in a conference and 100 people are in there, and one of the doctors is like, "Has anybody got any questions?" And he just goes, "Bust a move." So it's funnier if you watch it, but I think it's good.
We were trying to figure out the name of it's the Great White Open.
Great White Open.
Yeah.
I'm so upset that I forgot that
know.
because I listened to that song.
Yeah.
For me, I don't forget these things. So maybe you put me on the spot. That's what it was.
That's okay.
I wasn't expecting Free Fallin'.
We all have those moments.
But I don't. So I'm going to be disappointed in myself. I'll take care of that later. All
right.
My number one.
What is your number one?
It is one that you already also mentioned.
I have?
And it also is Motley Crue with Kickstart My Heart.
No. That made your number one?
That is my number one.
Wow.
I love this song.
It's a good song.
My favorite Motley Crue song.
Yeah, for a rock song, it's
so good.
Yeah.
It's just so much
worthy.
Energy.
Yeah, that's worthy.
Now, what I'll say about Motley Crue is I think every song sounds like a song that's just in a strip club. But that's fine because I think that's where they lived when they weren't on tour. This wasn't their highest charting song, but my favorite Motley Crue song, as I just said, it just gets me amped up. It's been used in video games, TVs, movies. Mm-hmm. I'll give a quick shout out to Butch T. Cougar at Washington State University. That's where my son attends school. He comes out on the field at the football games
to this song. Okay.
So it's
cool.
also memorable to that too. The video is awesome. As you mentioned earlier, it's half of it's like they're at a concert, but the other half is like skydiving, NASCAR driving, all those things like that. And once this song starts, it just keeps going. There's this little dip in the middle where he talks a little bit, but other than that, it's just full adrenaline from start to finish. And Kickstart My Heart it is a fantastic rock song.
Yeah, and that was on the Dr. Feelgood album.
Yeah, that's a good album.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think there's a lot of this belongs in a strip club.
Every Motley Crue song. You could, if you put every Motley Crue song on and just listen to it for a few minutes. Girls, Girls, Girls.
Yep.
Dr. Feelgood.
Mm-hmm.
Even Home Sweet Home. That would just be the sad dance, right? But I think every song goes into a strip club. Yeah. I just think they penned them all while they were sitting there. Because that's where they were when they weren't touring. They were in a strip club.
I would not doubt it.
So if you watch the behind the music, they lived with porn stars before they got famous because they couldn't afford an apartment.
Oh, wow.
So
Nope.
they would play in the club, and they'd literally go upstairs, and these adult film actresses owned an apartment, and they would just crash there all the time.
Wow. So that's your number one.
Number one, Kickstart
Yep.
My Heart.
You shock me every time.
Shock every time. Cutting Room. Did you have Cutting Room for this one?
Well, I struggled to find two, but I did find two
Yeah.
that because of your goofy rules with the so many above the 50 and so many.
I got it.
Yeah. All right. So two was the Phil Collins song, but I Wish It Would Rain Now or Rain Down.
Oh yeah.
I like that song.
That one's not as good.
No, but it was good. And then the other one that I was.
Wait a minute. So in your research, did you go back and listen to that song?
Yeah. I like it.
It's not good.
Oh, it's gotta be better
It's
than.
pretty-
It's gotta be better than.
Another Day in Paradise?
Yes.
Another Day in Paradise was number one. So it's not better than that. But look, Another Day in Paradise is already a little sappy.
It was
That's sappier.
It's true.
I wish it would rain.
What number was Paradise?
Well, it's down now because it had already been number one. It was on its way back down.
Oh, so it had been number one.
It was number one. Remember, it was the last number one of the 80s.
That's
and
right.
The
You
first
said that.
of the 90s.
You said that. I did not listen with comprehension. I Wish It Would Rain Down. Yeah, that was number 19. And then the other one that I was shocked didn't make either one of our lists was Biz Marquee, Just a Friend.
Just a Friend. I have that on my cutting room floor too.
Number 14. I tried to find a spot for it, but anyway.
So everybody says that's like a fantastically classic rap song. I don't agree with it. Like Biz Marquee's okay. In rap circles, rappers think he's was awesome, like the best.
Yeah.
But I don't. Like Just a Friend was okay. Like it wasn't one I went in. Another one I had written down was I Want to Be Rich by Calloway. That was a good one.
I'm not pulling that one up.
You don't
Nope.
remember it?
No, I don't.
Oh man, it's good. You know?
What do you have anything else on the cutting floor?
I wanna be rich. Dun, 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 dun,
Nope.
dun, dun.
No.
I think if you heard it, you definitely would know it. But well, a lot of the rest of my cutting room you had included in your list, so I don't have a lot else. There were some other ones. I didn't have Michael Bolton on my list because I'll be honest.
Yeah, why didn't you?
I wasn't listening to Michael Bolton at this time.
Oh, okay.
So he was in consideration for honorable mention, but he was not going to beat out You're the Voice from Hot Rod.
Yeah.
So there just was no room for
that's
Michael.
true. That was a relevant connection. I liked that. That was good.
It was relevant. I mean, I try to put things on here for a reason. I know you just throw darts and then just write things down.
I know.
But I actually
your
do some
wife
research.
actually called me out on that. Said she thinks I just put my choices in a bag and I shake it up.
Yeah, and pull out and go, that's number 6, that's number 4. So I try to do some actual research here.
I did. I put some thought into it.
All right. Well, that brings us up to the end of this episode of Totally 80s and 90s Recall. We hope you've enjoyed a look back at our favorite songs from the Billboard Hot 100 for February 28th of 1990, which we had several of the same favorite songs. What did we get right or wrong? Did we miss anything altogether? Leave us a message on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or our website, which are all included in the show notes. You can also email us at 80s90srecall@gmail.com with comments or show ideas, and we'd love to hear show ideas, and we'd love to hear comments. Good or bad, we like all feedback. Any emails we get could be read on future episodes. Finally, if you like the podcast, please hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and head on over to Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. And please leave us a review, 5 stars, and that will help the show grow.
Nice. What is our homework for next time?
Homework for next time is top movies of 1986. So we're going way back in the time machine.
Back.
So, and for you listeners, if you're interested, take a look at those list of movies from 86. Some really good ones came out, and you can see how well we do for this upcoming topic.
Okay. Top movies of 86.
Top movies of 86. I'm sure you're going to hate it, but this is what we're going to do. And you're going to come to the table and you're going to be like, I found 3 movies, and that's going to be the end of it. So, oh well. You got anything else?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Fancy goodbye?
Nope.
No. Fancy goodbye. One of these days, we're going to have a fancy goodbye.
We'll come up with something.
All right.
All right. Peace out.